Where's Toji? A comment that haunted Tamashii Nation's Instagram for a very long time. Literally every single post had some sort of comment asking, where's Toji? Definitely was really obsessive. But I mean, we were expecting him to come shortly after Team Gojo and Gato, which obviously did not happen. So people begged and begged until it finally paid off, as we got the official product images of him. And oh boy, was I excited to see these. Especially because it didn't look like they did bad at all with him. But the promos did offer a word or two from me personally, and then right before release, someone got a floor sample early and really shook up the community, as the showcase was not the greatest for this figure, which is why I am very eager to set the record straight on whether he is actually good or not. Toji comes in a box that is stylized in the way that they do this JJK line, with the colors that match Toji's aesthetic of course. I love that we got a nicely sized window in the front showing off sexy pinkness inside, and damn, he looks beautiful. Also happy that we can see some of the accessories inside as well. Then there's some cool promo images of him on the side. Here's the set's name and some branding. As for the top of the box, here you go. Then here's the left and right side of the box. And then here's the back of the box, showcasing some of the fun that this figure can do. Overall, it's some great packaging for this guy, and so let's set him free. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm giddy as fuck just looking at bro in the clamshell as it's packed. And that's always a beautiful sight. And then what else is a beautiful sight is the figure itself. And you know what? He looks so damn good in hand. But I'm gonna go ahead and address something so we can get it out the way. And that he is shiny. Does it just kill the look? No, as the shininess level does change based on what lighting setting you are in. And I'm gonna show a few examples of different light settings here. Obviously my review area will showcase the shine the most because of the lights. If you're in like a natural light setting, it's not as noticeable, but it can still be seen. And the same goes for like your typical kitchen living room lighting, not as noticeable. And then if the lights are off, hopefully he ain't shiny. And I know many of y'all are gonna matte coat this guy immediately, and that's completely fair. I think he needs one, especially since in the promos he did have a matte coat, or at least wasn't as shiny. But even like this, it's not majorly off-putting, especially in hand. Unless, of course, though, you're under lights like mine, then yeah, this shit is shiny and oily looking as fuck, which does make bro look cheap and not as advertised. Of course, though, y'all please let me know, how do y'all feel about his shine? Is it acceptable or is it not acceptable to you? I just wanted to go ahead and address that, as that's really the only main issue with his look, as the rest is so damn good. First off, they nailed his likeness. His face looks so spot on, and I love how well they did the scar on his lip. And then looking above that at his hair, I love it. It's sculpted perfectly and has a really nice dark blue color to it. Then below the head, we can see bro's body. They freaking nailed the proportions here. He's jacked as shit, and I'm happy Tamashii did bro right, unlike Fortnite. That shit was ass. Bro's shirt is literally so damn tight, revealing his chest, abs, and back muscles well. And I also love the wrinkling sculpted on the shirt to really give it that skin tight look. Then his arms got some nice size, and they did a good job with the musculature on them. Then looking at his lower body, I think they did a good job with the pants. They are big and baggy how Toji wears them, and I love the extra subtle shading they put on them. Might be hard to pick it up on camera though, but in person, you can see the shading on the pants well. Or well, it's only visible in the front, as I'm just now noticing that I don't think there is any on the back. If there is, it's pretty negligible. I mean, there could be some, but yeah, I really can't tell from my naked eye. But on the front, you can definitely tell that there is some. So yeah, I don't really know why they don't paint the backside of figures. Okay, that sounded a little depressing, but around the waist of the pants, his little belt piece looks fine and is movable. And then on the backside, who was going to tell me that Toji was caked the fuck up? Like, bro, come on, his shit is juicy. Nah, it ain't, but you can make it thick if you want, so that's fun, I guess. Then he does have like all this going on the back of the knees. Definitely stands out and is pretty open, but they made a sacrifice for the knee joint, which we'll talk about that later. And I will mention now, this really doesn't bother me looks wise, but I know to some, it might. Then at the very bottom, he got his shoes on and they're done fine. I'm sure though, some of y'all wish they were removable so y'all can see some Toji feet. Thankfully they aren't, because I'm sure some of y'all would do some devious stuff. So overall, I'm extremely happy with the look. They seriously nailed the likeness, and the only gripe that can be made, which is a valid one, is the shine to him. A matte coat would have been preferred, but even like this, it's nothing crazy detrimental as stated. Then moving on to his accessories, the selection is good as he comes with the main things that a Toji figure should come with. He first comes with 4 faces. one neutral resting face of him sort of smug, like he let out a stank ass fart and he's waiting on you to smell it. Next he has an excited teeth grinning face. He knows you smelled his fart. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that again. Then he has another excited face, but it's with his mouth open and eyebrows a little offset. And then he comes with a face of him like crazily looking to the side. All these faces look great and are so awesome utilizing poses, but they are similar in a way. Not saying that's bad though, it's just that I would have personally loved 2 more faces. Maybe a goofy one and then like a shocked one of when he saw Gojo come back. I think those would have been phenomenal additions, but still I don't hate the selection. And then to give these faces some more life, he does come with an alternate windy hair piece. I have a love-hate relationship with this. I for one love it because it looks awesome. The way it flows is just so good and accurate, and the amount of detail in it is great. But I for two hate it at times because it is tedious as fuck to swap. They cheaped out a little bit here by having both hair sculpts share the same connector peg, which if it worked how it's supposed to in the instructions, then it wouldn't be as cheap or annoying to me, but it doesn't work that way. Instead, anytime I try to swap it, each hairpiece will take the connector peg with it, and then you'll have to dig it out, which is sometimes pretty tough to do as it's in the head's good. So that does suck a lot honestly, as it makes me not want to utilize the beautiful alternate pieces, as it's like a chore to do, and we don't want to feel like that when playing with figures. Wish it worked the way it was supposed to, or just give each head their own adapter peg. I mean, come on, was it that hard? Then moving on to the hands, he comes with a good selection. He has 2 fisted hands, 2 weapon holding hands, 2 open relaxed hands, 2 open clinchy kind of hands, and then 2 hands joined into one. That is meant to recreate his iconic behind the back arm stretch that he does. Very awesome addition to have. The only pair of hands I would have liked to see would have been some trigger finger hands. As y'all should know, Toji uses a gun sometimes. But that's probably because his figure doesn't come with a gun and instead comes with these bad boys. First up, he has his split soul katana. It looks just like how it does in the series, and yes, these little indentions and stuff are supposed to be there, and I really like the silver paint they use on the blade. The only thing that I think it could use is maybe a wash or some black line on the hilt's wrap, like in the series, as this does look a little cheap and bland. Not a big deal though. Also, they put the sword in his hands, pop the hilt off, slide it through the hand and put the hilt back on. Simple as that. And then he comes with his inverted spear of heaven. Just like the split soul katana, this thing looks good. It's shaped and looks just like how it's supposed to be. The only thing that would have been cool if it had is an optional chain piece on the end of it, as that's a very iconic part to this weapon. But it's not required, and that's probably why it's not included. And I'm sure you guys can easily put a chain on the end of here though, or just wait for like a Toy Spot kit or something, which I might do as they're making some cool looking stuff. And then Toji wouldn't be Toji without his little purple worm that he fucking swallows, throws up, and wears around his torso. Disgusting as fuck. But do what you gotta do to whoop some Gojo ass. The actual worm itself that Toji does come with is better than expected. First off, it looks good as the likeness is there, as it has bro's little feet thingies and his little hair patch. Now, it is shiny like Toji and that's not ideal, and does give it a sort of cheap look. I think a matte finish and a black wash would do this thing a lot, because it looks good without, but with that, it'd be perfect honestly. So, I wish Tamashii would have painted and put a finish on this guy. I am happy to say that it is articulated though. It has some head movement and then I think like 7 joints in the body, so you can move it around as you see fit, so that's cool. Especially since they could have just made it one piece. Thankfully it's not though. Then to put it on Toji, take these legs off, but do not struggle like I did. I kept trying to pop them out by like pushing on the sides of it. Don't do that. You just gotta pull up and they'll slide out. Then plug this adapter piece into it, take Toji's neck off, put this piece on the ball peg, and then put the neck back on. Really easy setup, and I like this attachment design a lot. It works great as it doesn't hurt to look at all, and the worm stays on perfectly as there's no issues with this setup falling off or anything, and then the fact that it is articulated means that it doesn't get in the way of posing, so that's cool. And then lastly for accessories, we got one of the coolest DLC pieces ever. A bloodied up Gojo face and bangs of when he came back to get his get back on Toji, and damn, they cooked hard with this face. The blood just stands out and I love it. This is some serious ass shit, and they did a great job with the blood stains on his hair and the blood dripping down his face. But of course, the blood isn't the only thing that makes his face great. It's this crazy ass expression that they captured. It looks scary good as bro looks psycho.
Is that right? You could be right. You're so right!
I love it so much as it's always so cool to see strong characters tweak the fuck out. And it being on Gojo is scary. And you know what else is scary? Gojo back shots.
I just love my dog.
I'm sorry. And that's it for the accessories. I'm personally very happy with them. It's a good selection of what you need for a Toji figure, minus a gun and like a few more faces. And the only thing that really majorly sucks about it is swapping hair pieces, as it just sucks. And I wish they gave each head their own adapter piece. But other than that, the selection is honestly more than acceptable to me. And then what else is more than acceptable to me is the articulation. Toji can pose really well and is a damn good time doing so, but he does have some non-ideal things that I do have to address. First up, we gotta talk about the head range. It's good. He looks up this far with pretty much no gappage, which is fair range. And I say no gappage because the internet was losing their brain over this gappage like so. Obviously does not look good, but you have to understand its purpose. It's like this because if you use a worm, it allows Toji to still look up utilizing the neck joint. Also, this area needs a little space for this hookup, so this little gappage thing is not a big deal at all. He then looks downwards fine with and without the worm, he looks side to side fine worm or no worm, and then the tilt without the worm is nice, but with it, it's a tiny bit obstructed. Also, this is the last time I'm going to use a worm in this segment, as it really doesn't affect anything else. Even the butterflies get good range with it, so that's good. The shoulders go up really far and can rotate. He has a butterfly joint that works awesomely, since it lets the arms cross over one another insanely well going forwards, and of course, the backwards range is good as well, since that is needed for that sick ass stretch and pose. Broden has a bicep swivel, some double jointed elbows to get good range, and a typical SH Figuarts articulation of it going up and down and twisting. Next, looking at the torso, the upper diaphragm range is okay, as its side to side movement is a little limited as is as far as it goes to each side, and the same goes for the front and backwards motion. It's alright. The all around tilt though does seem to be sorta nice. Then at the waist, we get some good twist in motion, and then the all around tilt is good. Then for the overall crunch of the figure, here you go. It's not terrible, but for Toji, it is a little limited. Then going backwards is no issue, as his range is literally great. It's always so weird to me when figures get more backwards crunch than forwards. Also, here's the overall total tilt. I think this is pretty damn nice, and I do want to show off some random sideways crunching, as I don't think this range is terrible either. Moving down to the legs, the crotch piece is a fairly soft material, so it helps the legs kick this far forwards, which is pretty good, but with some of the use of the rest of the figure, you can make it appear like he's kicking really high up, so that's cool. He can kick this far backwards, but it is backwards outwards, as his fat juicy ass does move the legs outwards like so. And speaking of outwards, he can almost do the splits. He has a thigh swivel and then single jointed knees that bend this far. And you know, I really can't say I hate this. I feel like this range is acceptable given the baggy pants design. Now I know they did double jointed knees on the Gatos, and they have baggy pants like Toji, but the range is honestly sorta similar, and I think Toji's setup looks nicer. Especially when not flex, as it's pretty seamless from the front, while on the Gatos it's not. But Toji does have a decent bit going on with the back of the knee joint, and then this visible hinge when bending the knee kinda confuses me, because I figured that they would do the knees like the SH Figuarts Akasa for example, but they did it like this. And I thought I would hate it, but I really don't, especially after comparing this Toji knee joint to Akasa's. The range is pretty similar when flexed, and even with this visible hinge or whatever, still looks cleaner than Akasa's to me, as it seems to be more compact and not as gappy. So you know, I don't have an issue with this Toji knee setup, as it was probably the best choice all in all. But then again, we have the SH Figuarts Tanjiro knees that are single jointed and are much cleaner when the knees are bent. But there probably is something with each of their designs to warrant how they are set up, as their point of flexions are different, as well as the setups on the back. So yeah, his knees are sort of confusing in a way, and I would love to know what do you guys think about him. Then he does have a calf joint to help with the knees' range, as though not much, and I do wish it was a little bit better, can go backwards some to make bro appear like he has a little bit more knee bend. You might could dremel some of this right here to unlock a little bit more range if you wanted, or it would have been cool if they put like a tiny flap right here that can move with this joint so nothing is limited and then it gets covered up when not being used. Just a thought I had. Then it can wiggle around and rotate some, which is great to use when having bro hit deep poses. And then the ankle joint can also help with this, as it lets the feet go up and down well and get a pretty damn nice ankle rocker. And then lastly, he has a toe joint. Doesn't really move that much though, as it's decent. Phew. That's it for articulation. As shown, it has some great stuff and some not some ideal stuff. But overall, all the elements all work great together, and I have not really felt limited at all while posing this guy, and that's what truly matters. Now for the size comparisons. Here he is first up next to SH Figuarts and Gojo. I think the scale is fine. Toji is a little bit shorter than Gojo, and that is reflected here. Also, for those curious, this Gojo head does not fit. I know that is definitely a bummer to some of y'all, but y'all can use the OG unmasked head as the pegs do fit. I don't think this looks bad, but I know plenty don't like his head sculpt, but I figured I'd show y'all that it is possible. Also, since his peg does fit, does that mean we can have a Sorcerer Toji? Yeah, that just ain't right. Then here he is next to his son. This scale is off, as I believe Megami should be a decent bit shorter. I guess we can just act like Megami grew up some, I don't know. Then here he is next to Yuji. Yeah, the scale in this line is just all over the place. Then here he is next to Todo. Here he is next to Yuta. Here he is next to Gato. And the worm does work on Gato. I just wrapped it around him and the joints help keep it in place. Also, Toji can use the Playful Cloud, which is peak. Then here are some random comparisons to give you guys an idea on how he scales. In conclusion, I think Toji's a pretty damn great release and is almost peak. And I hate saying that because I really just want to go, this figure is freaking peak. But I can't do that because some of its issues and nitpicks I have. First up, I do have to say that the sculpt work and detailing is really nice on this guy, as they nailed the likeness and I'm so damn happy about it. Well, besides the shine, it isn't like crazily killing the look to me, but it is noticeable, and a matte finish would have been nice. And I did ask you guys on Instagram, and it seems like it was almost 50-50 on whether bro shininess was a problem. I expected that. At least though, a matte finish is a simple fix on your own, though it sucks that you gotta do it. Then the accessories are a really fun selection, as we got a good variety to choose from. The only main gripe I have with them is how tedious it is swapping the hair. I wish it worked right or they just gave both heads an adapter. And then I love that this guy can pose pretty damn well. Not that I was doubting bro, but some of the design choices did have me skeptical. But I can say that he really isn't held back much by them. The only thing that could have been better is the overall crunch in my opinion. But yeah, thankfully with this release, the pros outweigh the cons and make it overall a pretty damn great release that I think any JJK fan, Toji fan, or ship, even action figure fan would love. He's just one of those figures that you'll constantly find yourself picking up. Hobby Genki was gracious enough to hook me up with this guy, and if they have any more, I'll link it down below. And that's it for this one, guys. What do y'all think about this figure overall? I would really love to hear what you guys got to say. I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. I seriously always appreciate the support, and I'll see all y'all in the next one. Peace.
はい、お疲れ。